J Massey is a full-time real estate investor. He's an entrepreneur.
He also teaches people how to find deals, raise capital for real estate investments.
Meeting J Massey in person, you'd think he's just a regular guy. He's got jeans and a t-shirt on and a pair of sneakers. But he's built up a multi-million-dollar empire.
I hope you do have an empty notebook because it's going home filled.
Jay gives back so much value that I've never seen.
Now, at this moment, when I'm looking at the kitchen, things are going through my head.
You want to be friends with him, and he treats you like you're the only person in the room, even though it's for the benefit of everybody.
This is how, when you ask yourself, how does Jay do it? This is how.
He tells people that they have to take action, and they have to take action now. I took the action, and the results have paid off.
What happens when the marketplace understands who we are and how we go out there?
Hey guys, how are you doing? Hopefully things are going well with you today. And welcome for those of you coming to the channel for the first time. Hi, my name is Jay. What we're going to do is, well, we're going to go through a couple of news articles that are very, very relevant for those of you in the short-term rental space. Again, Cashflow Diary has become a place to where if you're becoming a bigger, better, badder entrepreneur, you have the opportunity to come here, learn a bit more, hopefully make more of the right decisions, but most importantly, understand where the news is, how we should be reacting, and get this insights on the strategies that are going to go out there and help you become bigger, better, badder, and make the right things happen. So let's go ahead and let's get into it real quick. So today what we've got is we got three articles that we want to touch on. We've got here the one regarding the Airbnb bill that you may have heard about recently. One regarding that's really exciting, actually, when you think about their plan to share the wealth. We're going to talk about that. And just a general use article about how to find those hidden cameras. So what does that mean? For those of you who are out there operating a short-term rental, we certainly hope that you are not using a camera on the inside of your short-term rental. You should not be doing this. In fact, if you've ever rented one, maybe here's some ideas that you want to go through to find out if your host is actually spying on you. For example, using a flashlight, opening all the drawers and cabinets, and looking carefully in very unique situations. One of the things that I want to bring up, I know that when we have rented a short-term rental in various locations, we haven't found any hidden cameras, but we have found many other things that have been left behind, either from the cleaning crew or the prior guests, or things of that nature. This sometimes, of course, happens. One of the unique things I just want to bring to everybody's attention, especially here, is when they're telling our guests to check the network, that means they're going to be looking on your network for these things. With that being said, now, I am not saying, again, I just want to be really clear, do not use any sort of, hidden cameras. They're 100% illegal. No cameras on the inside of the unit. However, because of things like this, one of the pro tips that I definitely want to make sure that you take away from this article is that you know that you should be using multiple networks. There is always a network in many of our locations to where we, the admin, we only have access to that network, whereas, say, the guest has access to a completely different network. Now, of course, there's many strategies that you can deploy with that. But again, when it comes to our devices, our televisions, our door monitoring, noise monitoring, the things that we can do, we tend to keep those on a completely separate network that the guest does not have access to. So with that being said, I just want to make sure that we cover that and that you are out there doing, again, the things that are what's best for your guest at the end of the day. Okay, so just keep that in mind as we continue. Now, let's get to the next article that I want to talk about. Is definitely something that I think we should all be interested in, and it's the idea of regulation. This is something that you've continually seen in the news, my friends, and you will keep seeing it. So what it seems to be, it seems now that, again, this article is brought to us by Reuters. It looks like McKinney Bryce went out there, and it looks like Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia, tends to be the next place that's in the news. It's its turn to go out there and fight for the rights of property owners everywhere at the end of the day. Now, here's the thing. If you've read articles like this before, you've seen many different things about legislations being passed, and some jurisdictions absolutely have gone further than they ever should. But here's what I want to talk to you. I'm talking to you, the operator, the entrepreneur, the ones who are out there trying to make your family and business work. Here's what you need to know. When I look at things like this, when they're talking about passing legislation, yes, you can look at sites like AirDNA, where it simply says here, let's read. It says AirDNA, a website that tracks Airbnb rentals, says there are nearly 7,000 listings in Washington, and annual growth is 39%. That's one way of saying it, but another way of saying is that a lot of people have recognized the opportunity and they're looking for ways to take advantage of it. And that's probably you watching me right now. Here's what it comes down to. Just like many other things, technology often precedes legislation and regulation. And I want to be very clear and say this. We, the entrepreneurs, we should not be concerned with, is there going to be regulation? In fact, we should want it. Here's why. Regulation will make sure that those who are doing a subpar duty are gone. And it will make you and I, the professionals, the ones who are out there making sure that our guests have the absolute best experience possible. It'll make sure that we can deliver that particular experience at a proper price, at the proper time, always. So at the end of the day, this is what I want to leave you with. We don't fear regulation. We just want the right kinds. And when you start talking about imposing day limits, doesn't really help because they're hard to manage. And if you actually take the time and think about it, because in the article, they talk about trying to limit 90 or 120 days. How on earth does a city ever intend on regulating that? How do you make sure that people comply? I think that's a bigger burden than what most people want. And I know that's what you and I, the operators, do not want. But there are things such as common sense legislation that can be had, should be had, and it's definitely what we all should be looking forward to. Now, with that being said, let's get into the last article for this particular episode, because I'm pretty excited about this one. I'm not sure if you've heard about this, but as it currently stands, wouldn't it be neat if you and I, when we go out there to create clean, safe, affordable housing for individuals and give it to them on a short-term basis, what if you could possibly earn a stake in the actual company or platform that you are doing the hosting on or the customer acquisition originally came from? So let's look. Recent moves by Uber. So I'm right here in the article to make sure you guys can see that. So recent moves by Uber and Airbnb hint at a fuller kind of sharing. In letters to the Securities and Exchange Commission, the companies have each asked for a rule change that would enable them to distribute stock to the drivers and property hosts who make their platforms possible. They could then get a payout when the company goes public or sold. Now, I don't know what you think about this. I know what I think about it. I kind of like the idea because it gives us additional reasons to go out there and professionally learn how to manage and own and control significantly more units. And at the end of the day, I think that's kind of a good thing for the entire economy. You're going to have the cream rise to the top. You and I, the new rental entrepreneurs that are out there, we're going to do our best to make sure that, we protect not only the customer, but also the company in any way, shape, or form that we can. Nonetheless, hopefully you guys have been able to gain some insights, and maybe this clears up a few things, but I want to hear from you now. So here's what I'd love to know if you were able to get shares or equity inside the rental platforms that you are using currently, or which rental platforms would you like to be able to do that with? And secondly, when you've seen common sense legislation out there, talk to me below in the comments. Let us know what you think would be some of the things that you think would actually work when it comes to actually making common sense legislation and making sure that the short-term rental opportunity and communities are 100% protected. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun talking to you today. I do look forward to talking to you soon. Until next time.